everybody! I hope that you are all having a fabulous, fabulous day today. I know I'm having a delightful Wednesday. I am here with Lando,
Hi.
our fabulous tech person this week.
And I triple checked the audio today. Like I spent like 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna make sure that everything's good today. You know, we're not gonna do double days in a row.
Everything's fabulous. Today we are going to be exploring some fabulous Spelljammer monsters.
Yes.
And essentially talking about just, you know, how much we love them or hate them, how fabulous or awful they are. That's what I'm saying.
How
And Snowflake Boy, thank you for asking. I did not in fact die.
Nice.
I wasn't murdered
That's good.
by headless chickens today on Dag's stream. So that's pleasant, not being murdered.
Yeah, so your character's learning is you know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know.
It was very interesting because he's supposed to be like the super smart one, and you know it's one of those where, but the whole point of the character is that he's like the substitute teacher. Like these are all college level students, and he's like the substitute for the academy, where he normally is in the library just studying things, and then will be sent out like if a teacher needs a day off or something. And so he has no real practical experience out in the world.
Oh.
So he immediately tried to cast Hypnotize on a bunch of headless chickens, which obviously didn't work.
Yeah.
Like,
But not something that would be
And then-
specifically like written down like next to the spell. Be like, does not work on creatures without heads.
with no head. Yeah,
You know,
yeah, absolutely. He's learning. He's got lots of notes around the edges. I love it. Apparently I'm being told that I need to calm down.
Yeah.
How dare you? How
So rude.
very dare you?
So rude.
I'm going to send Lucius Malfoy to say, how dare you? Because it is the best how dare you meme. I mean, the fact that he like barely opens it just doesn't even open his mouth. It's just like, how?
How dare you? How dare you?
Makes me so happy. Yeah, so today's going to be a nice, fun, chill stream. Please, everybody in chat, feel free to ask questions, make comments about all the stuff that we are doing here. It'll be super delightful.
Be great.
And absolutely, we can recreate some Mario games with D&D. Absolutely.
Actually, that would be actually super dope. Just have what would be Bowser? That's like the first question I'm thinking of.
Okay, so Bowser would be a dragon turtle.
Yes. Of
I
course.
mean, like I feel like
I forgot those exist, honestly.
Yeah, you just shift him instead of breathing steam at people, he breathes fire.
Breathes fire. Yeah, easy.
There you
Easy.
go. There you go. Yeah, makes it very sad. And today, I am very excited to check out not only these monsters, but if we have time, going and actually looking back at the Vecna dossier and really going in depth into what that looks like. That is going to be delightful. And I think we should get started with that right now. I'm super curious about freaking monsters.
Let's pop it over. All right, so the first one we're going to do is... Oh, there we go.
Because I think the Gadabout.
Gadabout. So, brief history on Spelljammers. I have zero experience. All I know is that D&D's going to space. So, contextually, as like a above table kind of thing, obviously, I know nothing. I'm like, there's like spaceships and stuff, and
well, so here's the thing about Spelljammer is that there's a lot of lore in the old Spelljammer that is not being transferred over to this version of Spelljammer. So like our crystal spheres were from our campaigns were in the first Spelljammer, but are not in the new Spelljammer.
Gotcha.
Now it's just realm space and wild space.
So I think as we go through, it'd be really interesting to get your perspective on, you know, what potentially has changed. You know, I always like that context and figure out, okay, like, you know, maybe even getting into why they didn't include X thing or Y thing, and that's always interesting to me. So, as much as you can expound on stuff that maybe isn't here,
Absolutely.
I would love that.
And just for people that in the chat that are unfamiliar, it's more than just D&D in space. What it really is it's all about pirate D&D spaceships. So it's really, because in the old Spelljammer, what it was, the way the lore went was you had all of these crystal spheres. And this was the way that they sort of dealt with the fact that, in the cosmology, you've got all of the outer realms, you've got the inner elemental realms, you've got the ethereal plane, you've got like the Shadowfell, you've got the Feywild, and then you have the prime material plane, which was one plane.
Yeah.
But you had all these different settings. So you had like Forgotten Realms, you had Dark Sun, you had Eberron, you've got, the like Dragonlance, all the different places that are all prime material plane places, but they're not the same planet.
Yeah.
So what they did is oh my God, welcome.
Awesome.
Hi, Dedossi Gamer. It's been very long. I would like to say that everybody should go over and say hi to Dedossi Gamer whenever they are playing. If you love fabulous role-playing, Dedossi Gamer is great. And if you want to see me be harassed and harangued by my students and almost die from headless chickens, absolutely. That is the place to go and find that content.
That's cool.
Oh, and thank you for the follows, everyone. That is absolutely fabulous. And just like Dag, if you'd like to help us keep the lights on over here, there's all kinds of things that you can do to help with donations and things like that. Today, we are not doing an actual play today because one of my characters has gone into the astral realm. Today, we are actually going to be looking at all of the different monsters from Spelljammer. So we're going to be looking at what they are, what they do, and sort of comparing them, old Spelljammer to new Spelljammer, and seeing what's going on there. So I was just explaining to Lando, who does not know old Spelljammer, sort of why it was created in the first place. So the reason that it was set up is because you have all these prime material planes, right? Like you've got Forgotten Realms, Eberron, Dragonlance, Dark Sun, like all of these places that are supposed to be in the prime material plane, but they aren't the same planet. So what they did is they created these crystal spheres around the solar systems that were like unbreakable, impossible to get through, except with very powerful magic. And that's what separated the different realms. And then what they created were the spelljamming ships, which were capable of actually moving past the crystal spheres, so that they could get into and out of the different spaces. And the reason you had the crystal spheres was because you had the phlogiston, which was this rainbow sea that's ultra chaotic and super powerful. And so you had all these fabulous different worlds that were separated from each other, but spelljammers were essentially merchants most of the time, or raiders or pirates that would go from sphere to sphere. And that's how you could have items from Eberron in Forgotten Realms.
Okay, that makes sense. And in terms of like layout, so it was kind of like there was like a cluster of crystal spheres, and then like all the other realms like kind of around it, where
No. So what you're dealing with in cosmology is there's a prime material plane, which is just it. That's an infinite plane.
Oh, okay.
Then you have the outer planes, which are different planes. Like it's just a different level of existence.
Gotcha.
So you cannot, like, technically, you could travel without planar travel from one sphere to another using a spelljammer ship, but you could not use a spelljammer ship, for instance, to go to Celestia, because that's a divine realm, which is on a different plane. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so the Spelljammer ships, and the crystal spheres were very far apart. So it would be like traveling from one solar system to another, and the only way to accomplish it was with this magical Spelljammer helm. They could do like incredibly fast speeds, but it would still take you like weeks to get from Eberron to the Forgotten Realms.
Gotcha. Okay. And there wasn't like spells that were introduced that do a similar thing, like planar travel. Was that blocked by the crystal spheres or something else potentially?
No. So no, nothing blocks the planar travel.
Okay. I mean, like in the same way, like you could get a spell to teleport to Celestia. Was there a spell?
So let's be very clear, because these words actually mean something. Okay. There are definitions for these words, and it's important so as not to confuse everyone. So teleport allows you to go to a place on the plane that you are on. Plane shift allows you to go to a different plane. So they're just completely different concepts. So just to make sure that everybody understands.
I hear you. So is there a spell that can get you from one sphere to another in any context?
I mean, they're sort of, but it would be really powerful and really dangerous to try to teleport from one crystal sphere to another. Because the crystal spheres are like the Oort cloud. Like that's how big they are.
Okay.
Like they're like, unimaginable distances, just inside the crystal sphere, and the planets take up a very small area.
Yeah.
So if you attempted to teleport to another crystal sphere, the vast likelihood will be that you will just end up floating somewhere out in the realm space. So yeah, there is so yes, let us jump into some fabulous monsters for the Jammer. So the Gadabout, and these are all brand new to me, so I'm very excited to see.
Okay, cool.
What's going on with them?
Nice.
The Gadabouts, yes.
Oh, I was saying, cool. I thought I just assumed you had all the knowledge, and this was like recycled, and But
no, this is new. I kept this because I knew that we'd be getting to this eventually, so I wanted to keep this all sort of fresh and see what's going on. So the Gadabouts are gentle winged creatures that can be used as personal conveyances for short distance travel across the airless void of wild space. Okay. A Gadabout wraps its branches around a humanoid creature, spreads its butterfly wings, and allows its wearer to fly through space in a continuously refreshed air envelope, which is super important because while it's not like our space where it's like it's so cold, it's like absolute zero and you will just freeze to death in 15 seconds. This is, it's sort of like room temperature most of the time, but there's no air. So you have to have a way to hold on to fresh air.
So it's still technically a vacuum?
It's sort of.
There's just no oxygen.
There's not really any oxygen.
Okay.
It's they're not really explaining it. Like the physics of it are like but essentially the way it works is that you have like a Spelljammer ship has its own gravity, and so it can hold on to a certain amount of air as it's moving. But eventually that air gets spoiled if you don't have a way to refresh the air on long journeys. And like a person, if you get flung from a ship, can like their personal gravity will hold on to an air bubble that will last about 2 minutes.
Gotcha.
And if they don't find new air, then they will start to suffocate. All right, the Gadabout's leaves even provide a nourishing syrup that its wearer can consume in the absence of other food and water. One humanoid can survive on these leaves for up to 60 days. Oh my God.
Wow.
All right. I need to get me some Gadabouts. Gadabouts require sunlight and water to survive. A healthy specimen can live for 25 years. Although its preferred mode of travel is flight, a Gadabout can creep slowly along the ground as well. Elves are the only humanoids to date who know how to grow Gadabouts. Since Gadabouts don't generate seeds, each one is a valuable commodity. Merkane and Dawar merchants who come into possession of a healthy Gadabout might sell it for 2,500 gold pieces or more. All right.
Wow.
Well, that's friggin' delightful.
Well,
I love
first
this.
of all, based on this art, because I didn't read any of the text because I wanted to know, I didn't think it was gonna be a plant. I thought it was gonna be like a creature. Well, plants are technically creatures. I thought it was gonna be like a humanoid creature. I didn't realize he's wearing armor, or like he's got accessories, plant accessories.
Yeah, that's friggin' delightful. I love it.
Cool.
All right, so we have got, so it's a medium plant, AC of 11. All right, that makes sense because it's very slow and, hangs on to someone else. Oh, only 11 hit points. Okay, so this would be, especially at higher levels, this would be very easy to destroy on someone.
Just shoot him out of the sky.
Yeah, you're done. All right, so
don't fly around me.
You can fly at 60 feet, so that's delightful.
Yeah.
So it's some very, very basic stats. It's not smart. Okay, so it has like plant intelligence, essentially. Like there's plant intelligence, there's creature intelligence, and then there's humanoid intelligence.
Well,
so
what's funny is I think 6 is higher than some creatures that I know.
It's a 6. Sorry, I was reading on my sheet that there was something that said 1.
Oh. Yeah.
So it is. So no, so the intelligence is 1, the wisdom is 6. So yeah.
Yep. So okay, I see that. It was the brackets were weird. No, I definitely see that. I was like, I'm pretty sure like ape is like 8. I'm like, this is like not that much less smart than an ape.
Yeah, no, it's a 1 intelligence, so it's literally a plant intelligence. It will just latch on to
that makes more sense.
Whatever is near it, apparently, and will just sort of hold on there and do its thing until it's removed. It has fire vulnerability, as most plants do, absolutely. It is immune to blind, charm, deafen, exhaustion, frightened, paralyzed, petrified. It's got blind sight, so that's fun. But it's like, I feel like this is not here to hurt people at all.
Yeah.
There's air envelope. If it has at least 1 hit point, the gadabout can generate an air envelope around itself when in a vacuum. This air envelope can sustain the gadabout and one other creature in space indefinitely. It doesn't require food or sleep because it photosynthesizes, so it just needs some sunlight. Delightful.
Nice.
It's got just a basic melee attack and then wrap. What is this? The gadabout enters the space of a willing, medium, or small creature within 5 feet and gently wraps its branches around the target. The target is grappled. Escape DC of 0. I love that. Any attempt by the target to escape the grapple causes gadabout to use its reaction to move into the nearest unoccupied space. While grappled by the gadabout, the target determines where the gadabout moves on the gadabout's turns and accompanies the gadabout wherever it goes. Okay, so you just have total control of the gadabout. Yeah.
I love how they initially couch it as like an attack, or like and then they're like, well, actually, it's not. The gadabout believes in consent and can't force you to fly around as much as it may want to.
I love it. I think this is super cute.
I love it. I love it.
I love it because it's a living spacesuit, essentially. It gives you pretty wings.
Yeah. It's druid friendly, which is what we want.
It absolutely is. Ooh, druids could speak to it then. They could speak to plants.
It would be like,
I feel like the plant would just be like, the whole thing would be like, I love you.
Yeah.
I want to give you a hug.
Yeah. It was like 3 words.
Right.
My favorite part though is that it has blind sight for 10 feet, but in parentheses, which I've never seen before, blind beyond this radius. Because I don't think I've ever seen a stat block or something that says like that it limits the vision of a creature, the distance.
There are a couple of things that I've seen in like 3.5. I don't know if they carried over to 5e, where you will have things like that. Like there's like, there's a couple of creatures, because they are technically blind, they cannot see. Like they'll have tremor sense, but they're completely blind beyond the limit of tremor sense.
That makes sense. Okay.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was a
I
cool
love this.
little
This is definitely, I think this is a great way to start the day with a gadabout.
I think it's
I
great.
think that's
Yeah.
absolutely glorious. I want to know what chat thinks about the gadabout. What would you use it for? What would you do with your gadabout if you had a gadabout in real life that gave you butterfly wings and the ability to fly and head out to space? What would you do with it?
Honestly, with a lot of these things in real life, the thing I'd be most terrified of is the government taking it and experimenting on it. Like that's like my first thought for like 90% of anything cool that you would get. Like any superpower you get, any kind of thing, you'd be like, hide it from the government. Like that's rule number one.
Okay, so we have established this. We have established in the moment, this is what we need to work on. If I ever take my crew to planet Earth from the Patchwork Planet, we are going to absolutely set it up as ET. Government is coming after you. They're going to weaponize you. Absolutely.
100%.
You know what I'm actually really, really super like curious about? I totally want to do a one-shot now where you just like, or like a mini campaign where D&D characters show up to the world and just are all like mutants. Like they're just like, how are you able to do this? I mean, I would have to make them all like magic users of some kind, you know, because you can train yourself to be incredible with weapons or very sneaky or, you know, things like that, you know, and that's fine. But even just prestidigitation in this
insane.
world.
And how like social media works and how everyone has a camera on their phone, like it would be almost impossible for them to not, like the government to not at least have a vicinity, like your vicinity pinned down pretty quickly if something goes viral. Like if you're doing literal fucking magic, like I guess maybe people could think it's a street magician, but
right. I mean, I feel like it's really important to note that we are now moving into the conspiracy theories surrounding the government. The reason there's no D&D creatures in the world that we live in is because the government has killed all of them.
Yeah, they've experimented them all. Exactly.
Good to know. This is really good to know. All right, fabulous. All right, next we are going to go on to the Goon Balloon.
The Goon Balloon.
What a delightful name for something.
Oh my gosh.
All right, a Goon Balloon looks like a 5-foot diameter beach ball with clawed feet. So gross. Unblinking eyes on the outer surface of its spherical air sac enable the creature to see in all directions at once. These eyes can produce kaleidoscopic light that tears at the mind of the Goon Balloon's foes. A Goon Balloon speaks by pumping air through a hidden orifice on its underside. When the Goon Balloon dies, the air in its sac transforms into a noxious gas that bursts from the corpse, potentially poisoning other creatures nearby. Although they can seem playful and harmless, Goon Balloons are quite mean-spirited. They like to observe the suffering of other creatures and orchestrate that suffering, given half the chance. What a bunch of bastards.
Okay, like, this is such a 180. Like, someone clearly hurt this person that created this monster.
Yeah, this is definitely, I feel like they had like a terrible sibling.
Like or a really bad experience at a beach.
Oh my god. We have a little log entry from Archivist Graves, the gift first mate of the Wasp ship Lightning Bolt. We found several of the creatures in an astral diamond mine at the edge of gray space. The miners wanted us to eliminate them. Our warlock, who is fluent in deep speech, managed to convince the bulbous creatures to relocate peacefully. They insisted we take them to a small, misshapen moon that doesn't appear on our charts. A horrible fear grips me. What if they're leading us into a trap? Oh, and this is the final log entry. Oh dear. Oh dear. These things are just, they look gross too.
I mean,
I'm just seeing the picture. This is unacceptable.
It does look like a beach ball with chicken feet.
I can't with this. This is so gross. Okay, so and they don't like fly around. I sort of had in my mind that they were like flying around. Like, no, they can climb and they can walk. Gross.
Kyle, they can only fly around once. They have to poke a hole in themselves.
I feel I really feel like this is just like, I feel like high school mean girls that did not learn their lessons. This is what they become.
Yeah.
Like, just super bitchy and awful, trying to harm everybody else. This is what they get to turn into in the afterlife. Absolutely. I'm 100% here for it. So we've got AC of 10. All right, so essentially no armor.
Yeah.
No, like apparently they're very wise for a beach ball.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
I suppose they need that for like insight.
Yeah.
All right, cool. They've got like, they're good at perception, obviously, with all these eyes. I get damage, vulnerability, piercing. Absolutely,
Fair.
Totally makes sense. Dark vision, and I love the fact that they are creatures that understand deep speech.
Well,
that makes me happy.
Well, if you look, they're more intelligent than a commoner. They have an 11 intelligence.
Yeah,
that's more like Gorf.
Yeah, well, when you used to be a mean girl in life, you have to be at least a little smart so you can throw shade at people. Like there's,
That's perfect.
We've got, all right, so they've got Burst. The Goon Balloon bursts when it drops to 0 hit points, releasing noxious gas in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on itself. Creatures in that area must succeed in a DC 12 Constitution saving throw or be poisoned for 10 rounds. A poisoned creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. Okay, yeah, so I do love a good creature that, like, when it dies, just blows up in your face. Like get those ranged characters ready. Like, this is, you do not want these things getting close to you. And I feel like if you just wanted to like kill them all, you probably could with one archer, because they only move at 20 feet.
You just keep backing up.
Yeah.
You're just kiting them all.
Sorry guys, bye-bye. All right, it doesn't require air, food, or drink. And for its actions, it's got multi-attack. It jumps up and claws at you. I love it. It gets 2 claw attacks, which are pretty basic. And then Scintillating Eye. Magical kaleidoscopic light emanates from one of the Goon Balloon's eyes as the Goon Balloon targets one creature it can see within 30 feet of itself. The target must make a DC 12 Wisdom saving throw, taking 1d12 psychic damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. That's awesome. So they have an attack that cannot miss.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, and
the whole, I mean, that's something that I would totally friggin' do, is I would surround a creature with like 20 of these and just be like, here you go. And then suddenly it's like, you're just in like, you're in the club. There's just all this kaleidoscopic light going. And I totally imagine that like the way they communicate is by like going like whoop, 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 whoop. So it really sounds like you're listening to like some fucking dance music.
Oh,
like,
I think
it's just a straight up, it's an EDM club killer.
Oh,
like that's what it is.
That's the trap that they got sent to.
Yeah, I'm totally down with this, where it's like literally you send like 20 of them in to like surround someone in a 3-dimensional way, and then they just get 20d12 psychic damage as they're like, I hate it's such bad, the music is so awful, oh my god, yeah. Absolutely, 100%. And then as a bonus action, it can float. The Goon Balloon moves up to 20 feet vertically in one direction without provoking attacks of opportunity. If it ends this move, it's suspended in the air, it hovers in place. It can't be knocked prone while airborne. Okay, fabulous. I love it. So it does float a little bit.
Yeah.
So you can literally create just a cube of a horrifying beach ball grossness with like dangling little chicken legs coming over to you. That's just, it's gross. This thing is gross.
That is so gross. I'm thinking about it from like an adventuring perspective, and like, you know, this is like a challenge rating 1/8, but like with the eye thing, that could one shot a level 1 character.
Oh, absolutely.
And they can do it out of range of melee combat by just floating away. You can't even try to hit them. They're like, show them no opportunity text. You can't pop it as it flies away. Like, that's so funny to me.
That's great. This is great.
And it doesn't even recharge. You just do it every turn.
Yeah, I feel like you guys might get hit with some of these. I think this might be a thing.
Funny.
I feel like this is something like a high-powered witch would have like floating as her light source in the ceiling. You know, like this is like a hag would absolutely have a bunch of these things just sort of like roosting upside down, hanging, like holding on to the ceiling and just hanging out, turning on lights occasionally for people like this. Oh yay. I feel like this is both a delightful creature and a great bit of flavor, I think, for an adventure. And
the concept is like, it's a balloon with legs. Like, that's like the initial starting concept. It's great.
That is the thing that happens. All right, let's move it. Oh, well, I want to hear what chat thinks. Like, how would you use this tiny little creature in your campaign? Like, what would you do with this thing? I want to hear. Shoot. I want to hear what you would do.
You could enlarge, reduce them, and make them smaller, and then hide them in your coat and throw them at people.
You're gross. I would love that. So in 3.5, there was something called the Helm of Brilliance. And it was this very powerful artifact that was like covered in, it wasn't an artifact, it was a very powerful magical item that was covered in different gems that would do different things. And I feel like you could absolutely create something like that with these, where you have like these tiny little versions of it all just standing on your head and just like spraying out like crazy psychic damage. You could absolutely make this a cursed object.
The
like
Helm of Goon Balloon.
Goon Balloon, the Goon Balloon helmet, where it's just anytime anybody gets within 30 feet of you, they just get attacked with these similar colors.
You shoot it off.
Just you have no control over it. It just like you just kill any competent that gets near you. Like there.
You're just like, oh, I'm done with this conversation. Pop.
And it absolutely be this terrible thing where it would be like, ooh, what are those pretty lights? Ah! Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
If you want to get really fast, I guess you can also just shove them all in a bag of holding because they don't need to breathe.
Oh my god. And then just open up the bag of holding and just dump it
just shake it out.
Yeah. That would totally be like, you know, like somebody, like they're having this beautiful festival where they do like the paper lantern.
Yes.
And you come along with one of these things and just all these horrible balloons. Just bad person. You're a bad person. I hope that your mother looks at you and says shame.
How dare you use the Goon Balloon in such a terrible way.
Gross. Oh my god. All right, next.
Let's see.
Next we have got the delightfulness of a Clockwork Horror. Let's see what this is all about. The Clockwork Horrors are ruthless, insectile automatons, eldritch machines encased in adamantine or some other precious metal. They roam wild space in commandeered spelljamming ships, gathering the precious metals and crystals they need to build more of their kind. Clockwork Horrors have no goal beyond replication and will stop at nothing to create new Clockwork Horrors. The time it takes for a Clockwork Horror to build another of its kind, assuming it has the requisite materials, is approximately 10 days. The body of a clockwork horror is about 2 feet in diameter, but its legs give it an overall diameter of 4 feet. Embedded in the front of its head is a crystal that enables the clockwork horror to see. Clockwork horrors communicate with each other by means of clicks, whirs, and similar mechanical sounds that imitate the Thri-Keen language perfectly, leading some to speculate the first clockwork horror was the brainchild of a Thri-Keen artificer. A horror can also emit light from its crystal eye, issuing dot and dash messages to other creatures that can see the light. Creatures besides clockwork horrors can learn this blinking light code, which is called Zik light. When another creature gets in its way, a clockwork horror attacks that creature with its razor-sharp mandibles and 2 tiny rotating saws mounted at the tips of its forelimbs. A horror can also discharge bolts of lightning from a short lightning rod embedded in its body. When a clockwork horror dies, the magic that created it consumes it over a period of 1 minute. Its metallic body and crystal eye degrade rapidly until nothing is left but a small heap of glittering dust.
What?
This is absolutely so I love these because this is actually in a real world issue with artificial intelligence and
I was waiting for the punchline there. I was like, oh.
It's actually something called the gray goo problem.
Okay.
And what it is when you create machines that can then create other machines, if they go out of control, literally they will just consume every single bit of matter on the planet and the planet itself. And the thing that is most worrisome is they are starting to experiment with like microscopic machines that would specifically be used to like target cancer cells and stuff like that would actually be really useful for humanity. But
like nanites
they
kind of
got
thing?
out of control. They literally, because they're so small, what they would look like is if they like took over a human body, they would literally just look like gray goo. It would look like a gray slime that was consuming the person from the inside out. And then would go on to consume everything around it.
I read a book, Michael Crichton, Prey.
Yeah, Prey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't remember much about it. I just remember it was creepy as hell.
Yeah, no, that's a similar thing. But this is also, if you've watched Stargate SG-1, this is one of the enemies from there too.
Oh, what are they called?
They just the replicants.
That's right.
Replicants. And it was. So this is the thing, is that they would just they become more intelligent the more of them there are in a space. Yeah. And so then they get smarter and smarter and just literally consume everything until everything is a replicant. So this would be this thing by itself doesn't seem too crazy, but this is a world-killing monster.
Oh yeah.
Like if you want to introduce something like this, because you could have them hide out in a cave where they're literally mining precious metals for like 100 years or something, and just exponentially multiplying until they literally come out of the ground and just spread like a virus over the entire planet, And the thing is that, what I would do with these, with that sort of thing, is I would actually create sort of different orders of replicants where it's like you will have your like diamond replicant. You would have your diamond clockwork horror that's made of the strongest material on the planet and has this insane AC because of it. But because it's rare, there are very few of them. And you could do that with all different things, like different types of corundum. You could make ruby replicant. You could make ruby horrors and emerald horrors that are super strong, and quartz horrors. And then you've got the adamantine and mithril. But then you could create lower orders of it that are like iron clockwork horrors and things like that, where they could actually consume one thing you could make is you could make like carbon. You could make like essentially like coal clockwork horrors that were very simple to destroy. Yeah. But what they could do is they could literally eat any plant or creature and consume the carbon in them to make more.
Oh, yuck.
So you could totally there's these things would if you did not get them under control immediately.
I mean,
with the exponential growth.
By that logic, you just make made anything. You have like a wood one, or like a
Well, so the issue there is that wood is not just one substance. Wood
Gotcha. Okay.
is like made up of so much other stuff, and it is a living substance. And it doesn't conduct. I think here the big issue is it needs to be able to conduct some sort of energy, you know.
Okay.
And
I just thought it was like magic. Like it's just
sure,
magic.
absolutely. But one of the things for me that makes a setting sing really is making sure that whatever rules you're using apply across it. There is internal integrity to your world.
Yeah.
You know, and in this, what we have, and here's an example. So we have, it's normally made of metal, but it can also utilize crystals. It's already shown us that it can utilize crystals, and that those crystals can, in fact, move energy. It can move electricity through it. So it's like, great, we now have that as our baseline for this, meaning any metal, any crystal can then be used to actually create these things, right?
It's like something conductive.
Yeah, so, but it would definitely have to be something that was a simple material that could conduct electricity. So yeah, all right, they've already got an armor class of 18. So my diamond horrors would probably have an AC of like 25. Something like that.
Gee.
Like that, it would be very difficult. 60 hit points. It doesn't seem like a lot, but with an AC of 18, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Like these things are no joke. It can't fly, thank God, but I would absolutely make flying versions of it. Like I would make like smaller, lighter ones.
I'd be fucking terrified.
Well, you know what I would do? I would totally make it a thing where it's like, you know, if you are made of like adamantine, you're a warrior and you're heavy and you're stout.
Yeah. But
But if you're made of mithril, then you can be light enough to fly. You know, you could create those with wings, and you could do that with all kinds of different things. All right, so they're immune to lightning. All right.
Oh.
Immune to poison, sure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
They've got an 18 constitution.
Oh.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And they're intelligent, they're wise, they have decent dexterity and strength. Like these things are, okay. They cannot be blinded, charmed, deafened, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, or poisoned. Essentially, you can't do anything to them.
Yeah.
You can like knock them prone, but they've got like a bunch of legs, so they'll be back.
Just
like
flip
that.
them over.
Yeah. Like there's, they can speak Thrykean and Zik-like. I love it. All right, let's see. Shutdown. I love that they have an off switch. That's good.
I think it's necessary for something this strong.
Yeah. If targeted by Dispel Magic, the horror must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against the caster's spell save DC or fall unconscious for 1 minute or until it takes any damage. That's totally why they gave them that extra Constitution. And so it will be very difficult to make this happen.
Yeah.
All right, does not require air, food, drink, or sleep. Multi-attack, the horror makes 1 bite attack and 2 rotating saw attacks, or it makes 2 lightning jolt attacks. Oh, damn. Okay. So it's 3 attacks if it's up close and 2 attacks if it's a distance. Its lightning attack has a range of 120 feet.
What? I was thinking like R2D2, like, you know, like poke zap, but no, this is like a
20. These are warlocks. They're fucking evil machine warlocks that worship like Primus or something. Like there's.
It's insane. Okay, one thing I find interesting though is that they have a high constitution, but they don't have a plus to the saving throw, which is interesting.
Oh well, that's good.
Yeah.
Dear God! All right. Spelljamming Helm interface. The horror attaches to a spelljamming helm it can see within 5 feet of itself and attunes to the helm instantly. If another creature is already attuned to the helm, that creature's attunement to the helm ends when so it can just crawl up on your helm that you are currently using and just shut it down.
Is spelljamming helm like a class of items, or is it a specific item?
Yeah, so every spelljammer has to have a spelljamming helm, and that's how you actually move the ship. So that's essentially the navigation and the engine.
For some reason, I was thinking helmet.
No, so it was a magic item in 3.5, and now it's sort of part of the ship itself. and you have to be a spellcaster in order to use it. Like, it uses your magical energy.
Gotcha.
In 3.5, it actually used spell slots. Like, you would have to cast spell slots into the Spelljammer Helm, and once you were done, and it would move you a certain distance at a certain speed depending on the spell level. Once you used that for the day, then another spellcaster would have to come in and start pumping spells into it to keep it going. Let's see. The horror can operate the helm even though it isn't a spellcaster. The horror can detach from the helm as a bonus action, which ends its attunement. These things are terrifying.
They just like hijack ships.
Acceptable.
And then they're like, oh, hey, let's, like, one could replicate, take over a ship, and then fly to another place to replicate more.
Well, it's one of those things where, like, essentially what you would do is, you know, if it were me, essentially what you would have to do is you would have to sort of stow away for a while until you could build up critical mass by, like, consuming, you know, like, metallic parts of the spelljamming ship that were not necessary, but stay hidden until there's probably like 10 or 12 of you, and then come out, kill the entire crew, because you'd have to do it all at once, or else the crew, if you went out one at a time and tried to do it, the crew could definitely take you down, you know. And there is, but if you have a bunch, then you come out, maybe even just like murder them one at a time, one each night, or something like that. Like, they're intelligent, they got a 14 intelligence, like, they're intelligent enough to actually, you know, get some stuff done. And then slowly you start taking over.
And they're small. They're tiny.
Yeah. So they can just sneak into your room, do the things, and oh my god.
That's insane.
I am really, really excited about that. There is, but then you go and essentially, like, they could just get to critical mass and then consume every non-essential part of that ship in order to replicate more and more of them. And then they just ram their ship into another spelljamming ship, invade that ship, kill everyone, and do the same thing over and over again.
100%.
Until, I mean, I probably now want to homebrew a ship that is not actually a spelljammer ship. It's literally, the entire ship is made of interlocking Clockwork Horrors.
Oh god.
That essentially is like it would look like a Borg cube or a Borg sphere,
right?
With like the spelljamming helm in the center of it, you know, and you just see this friggin' sphere just come at your ship, and it looks like a giant cannonball, but it's not. It breaks apart into 1,000 Clockwork Horrors as soon as it touches down, kills everything, consumes everything, saves the spelljamming helm, and then takes even more of it. Until, I mean, you could make a situation where there's literally, like, it looks like there is a moon coming at your planet, and it's just
Clockwork
a
Horrors.
Giant mass of Clockwork Horrors.
Oh my.
Like, that would absolutely be an amazing friggin' doomsday scenario. Like, you have to destroy a moon.
That's insane. That would be,
yeah,
I'd love it though.
And trying to get to the center of it to stop them, like, just literally every single square inch of this thing is trying to kill you.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of, like, is I was thinking about, like, is there a class that, or like a way that you can get dispel magic at will? Like, that would be like, like, one of the few things that would be like, okay, you're done, just hitting them all with these.
Essentially, what you would have to do is you would have to, like, have, like, every country on the planet start creating dispel magic scrolls.
Right. But then even then, what would you do with it after? Because it's only a minute.
Well, don't forget, they only have 60 hit points. So you could, if you get, like, a high spell, like a really high level caster, you could totally do, like, Fireball would take them out.
Yeah.
You know, it would shatter them. Prismatic Spray. We had all of them. I mean, a dragon could definitely clear a bunch of them out real fast.
That's true. Yeah.
So that would be. It was essentially. I mean, sorry, I'm just now gaming this out for me.
No, 100%. I love it. I love it.
Where it's like you literally have a moon of these things. You establish that there's like 100,000 of them, or something like that, all interlocked, and you have to go and like send out like an army of like dragon riders to go.
Specifically ones that are immune to lightning, probably.
Oh yeah, what would that be? Is that blue dragons?
I want to say, yeah, blue.
Because that would be, I feel like that would be a fabulous campaign where it's like, first you have to go and convince the blue dragons to help.
Or like, you try.
Like, no, we'll be the only ones left. You can fuck yourselves.
Right.
And we're going to get, and while they might eat like a bunch of the precious metals, that's the way that you would do it, is you convince them that you'll never have a horde again, because they will come and eat everything.
Oh, they 100%, yeah, they'll eat your horde. But it'd be interesting if like the first round was like, you know, all the dragons, and they just got like, once they got 120 feet, like 10,000 or 100,000 just shot lightning bolts and just instantly killed everyone that wasn't immune to lightning.
Well, and here's the crazy thing is they're immune to lightning too, so you couldn't even use like the blue dragon breath.
Oh shit, yeah. You basically...
Yeah. So you would have to have like the dragons acting as shields with like super high level spellcasters on their backs, like just spamming friggin' like fireballs and area effects.
That's insane. And they don't have any like immunity or not immunities, vulnerabilities. So you're kind of just that's
oh they do. You send up dragons carrying like a dozen rust monsters each.
Oh,
and you just
yes! Oh my gosh!
Into the group.
Yes. You just like the whole world would just be breeding like rust monsters and just having like, you know.
That's... Oh, why? I feel like that would absolutely be, because rust monsters is supposed to come from Acheron. And there is
now I'm curious.
You could absolutely have like a cube in Acheron, which is, you know, it's made up of these giant metallic cubes. You could absolutely have a cube that is all friggin' Clockwork Horrors that just slams into each other, you know, and there's all these rust monsters here, and that's the eternal battle in Acheron is the rust monsters versus the Clockwork Horrors. Like, absolutely. Okay, so super excited about that.
You need a lot of rust monsters. They're significantly weaker.
What, rust monsters?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just touching them would destroy it.
Oh, okay. I didn't read the whole sheet, but
yeah, no, rust monsters. Like if you hit a rust monster with a metallic weapon, the weapon turns to rust and is destroyed.
I thought there was like some save or something, but yeah, that's... I
don't think so. And it would be a situation where if there is a rust monster just in total contact with them, they would just start rusting away.
Rust monster catapults.
Absolutely. I mean, and that would be the thing, is like having it close enough, because you could just kill all the rust monsters 120 feet away, you know. But if they're protected by the dragon like essentially has to do like, you know, get within like 10 feet and then drop it down.
Yeah,
this is insane.
That is insane. I really like that though. That is a really cool. I love the design too. It's very like sci-fi, like, you know, I really like that. So,
all right. Next up, we have got the Star Lancer. Drifting in the Asteroid Sea are the petrified husks of dead gods. Their colossal bodies riddled with natural tunnels and caverns. While exploring the innards of one of these dead gods, Githyanki xenomancers found a vast cavern containing scores of winged creatures they had never encountered before. The cavern's denizens used telepathy to question the Githyanki interlopers, who promptly suggested an alliance. The winged creatures quickly developed a fondness for the Githyanki. The Githyanki referred to the winged creatures as Star Lancers, Vakarel in the Gith tongue, and came to realize Star Lancers are reincarnations of the dead god's most ardent worshippers. The Star Lancer, when a Star Lancer dies, its soul instantly returns to the great cavern that forms the hollow heart of the dead god. There, the soul becomes housed in the body of a new, fully grown Star Lancer that rises magically from the cavern floor. As long as the dead god and its great cavern remain intact, the number of Star Lancers in the multiverse is finite and never changing. A Star Lancer resembles a shark, albeit one that has 4 wings and a long tail. Its head bears a sharp protuberance that the creature uses to impale enemies. Githyanki are fond of using Star Lancers as mounts, riding them across the astral sea in small flocks. A Star Lancer has the innate ability to turn itself and its rider invisible, making it ideal for stealth missions and ambushes. So it's a large. This is awesome.
Oh, I love the lore. God. I always love the little blurbs because I'm always thinking about like, okay, how much of this can they gamify? How much of this can they justify and like actually make into stat block? And I'm always blown away by how well they're able to do that a lot of times, which is really cool.
Absolutely, I love that it's a large celestial. That's fucking fabulous. Of course it is, because it's the reincarnation of the worshipper. Okay, cool. There's armor class of 15. Cool. Not too many hit points. Hit point 60. It has no speed on the ground, but it does have a fly speed of 50 feet. Yes. Fabulous. Ooh, very strong.
Oh,
very strong. Very quick. A lot of constitution. These are beastly.
10 intelligence?
That's okay. All right, we're doing some things now. It's got a stealth skill. That's lovely. It's resistant to radiant damage. That's fun. It speaks celestial and has telepathy to 120 feet. That's nice.
That is so cool.
Shit, it's got flyby. The Star Lancer does not provoke opportunity attacks when it flies out of an enemy's reach, which means it can fly, attack you, and then fly away, and you don't get to do anything about it. And the rider
is invisible.
I think that the flyby attack also gets transferred to the rider. So the rider can just attack you, like whip its spear at you, and just done. Oh my gosh.
But even if it doesn't, that's always nice, because mounts typically are more danger than the rider, of dying.
Oh yeah.
So
actions, you've got Horn. It's a +6 attack. It does piercing damage. If the Star Lancer moved at least 20 feet straight towards the target immediately before a hit, it takes an extra 3d6 piercing damage. I love this, that you can have like 3 or 4 things impaled on your horn, and just like it goes like whoa, and just people just go flying.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. That's delightful. Invisibility cloak 3 times a day. The Star Lancer and one creature riding it magically turn invisible. This effect lasts until the Star Lancer or the creature riding it attacks or casts a spell, or until the Lancer's concentration ends. Any equipment worn or carried by the invisible creature is also invisible for the duration of the invisibility cloak. So it can last all day.
Yeah.
That's
so cool, honestly.
So now my question is, given the fact that it lasts all day long, and these are, people that are used to spell jamming and moving through planes, how many invisible Star Lancers are there on Earth right now watching you? How many are there? Are you about to get murdered by a Githyanki? You might be.
Might be. You would never know.
You might
until they attack.
That's right. So I would like everyone in chat to know you are being watched by Githyanki right now. And I feel like you need to do whatever is necessary to gird yourself against against attack by extraplanar creatures.
I think the safest thing you could do is be in a room that's less than 20 feet. So you can't get the charge. Yes. That's important.
Absolutely.
Small spaces. Small spaces.
This is your public service announcement from Planar to Alphas.
Okay. Can I just say that I love the fact that like they get reincarnated. And I was just thinking about like how that would influence like the culture of the Githyanki, in terms of how I don't know if like they like the Star Lancer will like lose its consciousness when it dies, but just like thinking about how like a Star Lancer will never die, like technically.
Well, so I feel like that is, we can look to the description.
Yeah.
And it's the soul become housed in the body of a new, fully grown Star Lancer. So it's not the same Star Lancer. So the body of that Star Lancer is not like reincarnated. It's a new Star Lancer.
Gotcha.
So my assumption is that they are just born sort of with the same way that animals on our planet are born, where they've got, you know, like an instinctive understanding of who they are and what they're going to do. And maybe have sort of a sense. I mean, they've all got telepathy, so probably there's some sort of like collective unconscious that sort of gives them an idea of what's going on. But
I was more thinking along the lines of like the relationship between the rider and the Star Lancer.
Yeah.
And thinking about if it reincarnated, thinking about how this Star Lancer is like incredibly older than the Githyanki, and then like basically bonds with the Githyanki for the Githyanki's life. And when the Githyanki's die, like they get to do what it, but how there's like only a finite amount.
You know what I think would be really interesting is if there was like a bond like that and it became a temple, like the bond to these things, and then that actually reignited the life of the god as the Star Lancers all started creating more new worshippers for the god that they worshipped before.
That's so cool.
You know? Like, I'd love that. I would love that, to have that, like, you know, the temple of the reborn god, you know, where it's like literally the temple is built on the back of the god itself. And in the heart of the god, in the cavern in the center of the god, are these Star Lancers. But now the god can create new Star Lancers by accepting new people his temple. That would be, I think that would be really interesting, because it would totally create a whole thing where it's like, the god would send you out on missions, and then your reward is when you die, you get to become part of that collective unconscious of the Star Lancers and go help out other people. So even if you die,
cool.
if you fall in love with somebody in the temple, and then when you die, you become their Star Lancer, you know, so that you never get separated. Something like that. I feel like that would be.
I feel like there's like a Star Lancer waiting list. And I wonder how that goes. Like, if you're like a rider and your Star Lancer dies, do you get the other Star Lancer, or because you let it die, you're just be like, all right, you're back at the queue, buddy. Like,
you bastard. I really like those. I think that's really cool.
I do too.
I'm gonna, let me see. All right, what's gonna be next? Puppeteer Parasite. This sounds terrible.
Oh yeah.
A puppeteer parasite looks like a rubbery amoeba the size of a dinner plate. Its dorsal surface is soft and glossy, while its ventral surface is lined with bony hooks. The parasite uses its hooks to attach to a wall or ceiling until suitable prey passes nearby. A parasite that comes in physical contact with a humanoid uses its hooks to latch onto it. The parasite can then drain the life energy from the creature or use it as transportation. The parasite can also impose its will on a nearby creature, forcing the creature to comply with its wishes. Puppeteer parasites like to use humanoid thralls as bodyguards and transports. Oh my god.
Thank you for the raid, Alakazam. Welcome in.
Hi, Alakazam. Welcome. Today we are going through all of the fabulous Spelljammer monsters. Right now we have seen some doozies. They have done a beautiful job creating wonderful and terrifying monsters, some of which are just world-killing, monstrous, awful things. But all of them have these really cool story hooks, so I'm super excited about it. We are currently looking at the Puppeteer Parasite, which is this gross aberration that jumps down on somebody from a cavern ceiling and then takes them over. It's got 15 armor class, 71 hit points. Okay, ooh, it can fly. That's distressing.
Yeah.
Very good hit points. An enormous amount of constitution, very intelligent. That's
Oh wow, that's
it is
distressingly intelligent. That is really
16
smart.
intelligence. Oh, so definitely pack tactics on these guys. You know, like they know how to like block an entrance. Oh my god. It does have vulnerability to radiant damage, which is good, but it's resistant to fire, necrotic, and poison damage. Can't be charmed, frightened, or poisoned. Oh, this is another one that it only has blind sight to 60 feet, but it's blind beyond that radius.
Okay.
And has telepathy up to 30 feet. Oh my god. So it doesn't require air or sleep. Its actions, cling. This is a melee attack. It does necrotic damage, and the parasite attaches to the target. While attached, the parasite can't make cling attacks. The parasite can detach itself by spending 5 feet of its movement. As an action, a creature within reach of the parasite can try to detach it, doing so with a successful DC 14 strength check.
Okay, 14
Consume life. The parasite deals 3d6 plus 2 necrotic damage to one creature it is physically attached to, provided that creature isn't a construct or undead. The parasite regains hit points equal to the damage taken. That's rude.
That is terrible. That's not even a recharge.
Bonus action, once per day, the parasite casts a suggestion spell requiring no spell components and using intelligence as its spellcasting ability. Oh my god. And suggestion lasts for, I think, a full hour, doesn't it?
Let me see. I can hover.
So, it's 8 hours.
Oh, fuck.
So essentially, what you do is you just have like, because these things are so small, because it's tiny. You can attach like a dozen of them to one creature, and just all of them just keep, as soon as the suggestion starts to end, as soon as they feel it start to struggle, you just cast another suggestion and have it like, we want you to go back to your house.
Yeah. You just need 2 of them. No, 3. You need 3. 3 will get you the full day.
But they might succeed against a spell save.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So you have to have backups, and they're smart enough to know that.
God.
And just absolutely, I mean, you could totally do a thing where it's like, oh shit, where they like take over a hospital. And so every time sick people come in, they just like attach more to them. And then I would need to figure out like how they actually like reproduce.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would be sort of like an amoeba where once you get enough energy, you just split in half,
Oh god,
and so you terrifying. This would be another, like, if they could do that, this would be like another world killer.
100%.
If you set it up right.
Because they're small enough where they're smart enough where they could just be under people's clothes. Like, they wouldn't just be like on your fucking forehead.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, in and of itself, like a single one is like, whatever. But like, they get you numbers.
And the thing is that so the suggestion can be cast 30 feet away. So you can absolutely be carrying like 10 of these things and then make the suggestion to like a bunch of people near you, come over here.
Yeah, it doesn't even for some reason I was thinking it needed to be attached, but it doesn't even need to do that. Be like, hey, come over here, big boy.
Yeah.
We got 30 friends for you.
Oh my god, that's gross. I hate it. I am not here for this thing. Makes me
And 30 would be enough to, never ever have to worry about. You could do like 20 things a day.
Right? Oh my god. I feel like these things would totally team up with the Clockwork Horrors.
I was actually thinking that too. Be like,
you can fucking create a Borg cube now in D&D.
Oh god.
D&D, what have you done? What have you done?
There's only 10 of these, and 2 of them are already so terrifying and world-killing.
Yeah, and I just think about this. I'm like, you could create an entire ship that's made of Clockwork Horrors, that flies through space, that's filled with all of these caverns of like these things that the Clockwork Horrors essentially like, could keep and help grow and maintain as defensive measures, but also as scouts that they could send to different worlds to see what their
100%.
defenses are, like infiltrate their societies, all kinds of stuff that you could do. Oh my god.
Yeah, like make them like lower the planetary shields.
Right.
They like sabotage the spaceships that are coming and the Dragon Riders and like this whole fucking like this like massive invasion. That's
just imagine that giant Borg cube just spitting out all of these parasite covered these poor humanoids covered in like parasites that then could just detach from them and go attach to everything.
Yeah.
Imagine if like a dozen of these suddenly attached to the dragons.
Oh god. Or you just have them. The parasites are just on the Clockwork Horrors while the Clockwork Horrors are doing their thing, and the Clockwork Horror goes out and they just like.
Yep. Just gross. Just gross. These are gross things. I don't like it.
Someone hurt this person too. Clearly.
And that's a CR3 by itself. Yeah. It's a CR3.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. All right. Let's see what's next. Maybe it'll be a nice thing.
Yeah, we keep alternating. Hopefully this one's nice.
So we've got the Yggdrasti. Which are delightful.
Okay.
All right. Thought to be cast-off splinters of Yggdrasil, the world tree, Yggdrasti look like gigantic dead trees covered with barnacles. They fly through wild space in the astral sea with their topmost branches leading the way and their withered roots trailing behind them. Each one has its own gravity plane and air envelope. Creatures sometimes try to hitch a ride on an Yggdrasti to take advantage of its air envelope. A typical Yggdrasti specimen has cavities inside the trunk in which medium or smaller creatures can lurk. Yggdrasti attack any settlements. Damn it! I thought this one was going to be nice. Yggdrasti attack any settlements or spelljamming ships as they come across without provocation. So they're just bastards.
These are...
By using Speak with Plant spell or similar magic, someone might be able to convince a Yggdrasti to break off its attack, but the monster's innate hatred of other living things is extremely difficult for it to suppress. Yggdrasti sometimes make landfall and disguise themselves as ordinary trees, burying their roots in the ground to pull off the deception. They can uproot themselves at any time and use their roots to shamble awkwardly across the ground. But flying is its preferred mode of travel. Oh my god. So giant, horrible monster trees.
That's right. Who angered the plants? Who angered the person that created all these monsters?
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to give... So far, it's like 2, potentially 3 monsters that just... They're like, oh, you have like 1 or 2 of them left unchecked? My planet, it gone.
All right, it's a gargantuan plant.
Oh, big.
They can move at 30 feet and fly at 60 feet. 15 armor class, 112 hit points, so that's significant. 20 strength. This thing will rip you apart.
Yeah.
Resistant to bludgeoning and piercing damage, immune to lightning damage. Okay, so now this would be a fair fight between Clockwork Horrors and these guys. Like, there's
right?
Blind sight to 120 feet, but it's blind beyond that. Okay, cool. So as long as you keep a safe distance from me,
really safe
you'll be okay. Cavities. The Yggdrasti has 1d4 plus 2 cavities in its trunk. Each cavity is big enough to hold 1 medium creature, 2 small creatures, or 8 tiny creatures. So you could have a bunch of parasites in there just hanging out. A creature inside a cavity has 3/4 cover against attacks and other effects that originate outside the cavity. The Yggdrasti's cavities aren't connected to one another. Okay. False appearance. If the Yggdrasti is motionless and rooted in the ground at the start of combat, it looks just like a dead tree and has advantage on its initiative roll. Moreover, if a creature hasn't observed the rooted Yggdrasti move or act, that creature must succeed on a DC 18 intelligence investigation check to discern that the Yggdrasti is animate. Okay. Lightning conduit. If the Yggdrasti is subjected to lightning damage, it is unhurt, and the lightning damage is instead divided evenly among all creatures it is grappling. In addition, the Yggdrasil regains one use of its lightning discharge. Doesn't require air or sleep. Well, let's see what this is all about here when it attacks. So it can make 2 rude attacks and uses its lightning recharge. Lightning discharge. Okay. So it's got a reach of 20 feet for its attacks. It's bludgeoning damage, and if the target is a creature, it is grappled automatically. The Yggdrasil has 4 roots, each of which can grapple 1 target. Oh my god. Lightning discharge 3 times per day. The Yggdrasil shoots lightning at 1 creature within 120 feet. The target must make a DC 13 dexterity saving throw. Takes 7d8 lightning damage on a failed save, half as much on a successful one. So let's see what this is. So, if it is subjected to lightning damage, it is unhurt, and the lightning damage is instead divided evenly amongst all creatures it's grappling. In addition, it regains one of the uses of its lightning discharge. So it could infinitely grapple people, cast lightning at itself. And then, or if you had 2 of them, they cast lightning discharge at each other, just constantly recharging the lightning and killing everything that they're grappling.
You know, I mean, they have intelligence 3. I mean, you know, but
well, yeah. So probably, so they probably, but maybe they've evolved to have these kind of attacks.
Maybe it's instinct. Maybe that's like their MO.
Right. I think that it is.
What do they even want?
There's just so much.
That's a great point
here.
They're like, they attack without provocation. I mean, like, the Clockwork kind of makes sense. They want to replicate. You know, the parasites, they just want to parasite.
Yeah.
The plants, I mean, maybe this is like, you know, Mother Nature's way of like saying, fuck global warming and stuff.
Like, I absolutely agree. This is going to turn everyone into a pyromaniac. 100%. Just burn it with fire. Kill it with fire.
You can't trust the trees. You can't trust the trees.
I feel like this would actually be great for like a fabulous horror scenario where like you're in a forest and you just don't, and like potentially every plant could kill you, you know, and you just have to get out of the forest. But the paths keep changing because the trees keep just moving like 10 feet this way or that way, and suddenly the path behind you disappears. Like, it just absolutely. I think Evil Turnip, I think what they want is just to, according to what is written here, they just want to kill everything living. They just hate it because they are like, they have been cast off by the world tree for some reason. And just...
Because Yggdrasil is Norse, right? Pretty sure.
Yeah, so Yggdrasil is the world tree in Norse mythology. It is the tree that is the conduit between the, I think it's 9 realms, either 9 or 7. I can't remember which one it is. And that includes like Asgard and Midgard, which is the world, and like Niflheim and Hell, all of those places. And in D&D lore, it is actually one of the ways that you can travel between different planes in the outer planes, because Yggdrasil grows throughout reality. So there's like in the cosmology, traveling between it, there are so many ways to do it. The world tree is one. It's attached to a bunch of different planes. Then there's like the eternal staircase, which actually, like, as you climb up this staircase or climb down this staircase, there's all these branching stairs that go up infinitely, and you can, like, on landings, there will be doors that will lead to different places in the multiverse. Then there's a couple of rivers that move through, one that moves through the upper planes and one that moves through the lower planes. And if you just get on the river, it'll actually take you through different planes. Yeah, so there's definitely so this thing would be a multiplanar creature, you know, it got cast off.
That's insane. One other thing I like that's interesting, and I'm curious to like, you know, gamify or like think about the cavities part, where you have like enough to hold one medium creature, like all these small creatures. I'm curious of like, because that to me is something that is like, are they? That's not part of the grapple. That's a different mechanic where they have people hiding in them.
So what I would do with it, because there are creatures that live on Yggdrasil specifically called, so there's, in the Norse mythology, there is a squirrel called Ratatosk. And Ratatosk is like a little trickster squirrel, and he'll like run up and down Yggdrasil to the different worlds and like sort of throw nuts at people, and like, but he'll also give them information about the different worlds.
Yeah.
And so they, in D&D, there is a species called Ratatosk that are squirrels that live, they're sentient squirrels that live on Yggdrasil. So I could totally see like there's like a small community of Ratatosk, you know, like that you say there would be like, if you have maximum cavities there, it would be 6 cavities with 8 creatures. So that's like 40 some creatures. That's almost 50 creatures.
That's
a small village. That's a little village of Ratatosk.
Little village.
Little village of Ratatosk raiders that are going to jump up on your pirate ship and take over.
Or those puppet parasites.
Ugh, so gross. Those things are gross, and I hate them. Oh my god.
Yeah, this thing on. I mean, I was hoping for a nice thing. This is terrifying.
Right?
Does the squirrel
It's
not also
true.
send messages?
Yeah, I feel like that's something that a squirrel would do.
Yeah, they would totally prank people.
They play telephone with their messages. I love it. There's
So
good.
good.
Absolutely. So we're about an hour and a half in. So I think that this would be a good spot to take a little break.
Yeah.
So everybody go grab some hydration, look at the sunshine or the fabulous clouds. There is so much to see and do. We will be back in just a few moments to continue with this and then look at the Vecna dossier.
All right. See you in a bit. All right.
Remember to check out the About section and see all of our fabulous sponsors. Go visit them for 10 minutes and then come back and we will see you in a little bit.
All right. Bye.
Hello again.
We're back.
Thank you for sticking with us. We are looking for all the fabulous spell jamming, delightful monsters that now exist out in the sea that you can be destroyed by out in the astral seas.
Or hugged
Very
by.
rude of them.
Or hugged.
You what?
Or hugged by.
That's true. There are a couple that will give you hugs.
Yeah.
They are great. We like those.
We had a good plan, and then we had a bad plan.
They are terrible. Most of them are terrible.
Yeah.
I hate them. But that's okay, because we're all here to destroy them. So now we have just done the Yggdrasti. Let's go check out the Fractine. What is this? A Fractine is a bizarre 2-dimensional creature that flies through wild space in the astral sea, folding and refolding like a piece of origami. When it encounters another creature, it flattens into a plane that resembles a trapezoidal mirror between 9 and 13 feet tall. Astral explorers who have encountered Fractines attest that the creatures are intelligent and often allow themselves to be used as scrying sensors. Their reflective surfaces substituting for the mirror needed to cast certain divination spells. While being used in this way, the Fractine siphons magical energy from the spellcaster. Not enough to cause harm, but enough to make the caster take notice. A Fractine needs light and magical energy to survive. They can draw sustenance from nearby light source, spellcaster, magic item, or magical effect without causing harm to anyone or anything. A Fractine that doesn't consume light or magical energy for 10 days begins to flicker. A day later, it folds in on itself and self-destructs, leaving no trace of itself behind. The destruction of a Fractine is accompanied by a loud sound reminiscent of shattering glass. A Fractine attacks by falling on its targets, dealing damage as it passes through them. A Fractine can also imprison a creature inside a demiplane contained within its 2-dimensional form. The prisoner's distorted reflection visible in the Fractine's glassy surface. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, and thunder damage can cause a fractine to break into 2 smaller fractines, each one autonomous and capable of imprisoning creatures. When a fractine dies, it folds in on itself and disappears, releasing any creature trapped inside. That is both gorgeous and terrifying. Okay.
Is this what got Zod?
From Emilu the Charismatic, Warlock and Scion of Akamar, I've encountered a creature unlike any other in the multiverse. A flickering mirror tumbling across the astral sea towards some unknown destination, with a beholder's distorted reflection in its surface. Initially, I feared it was some kind of vessel. Now I believe the beholder was the mirror's prisoner. As the flickering mirror approached me, I grew fearful. Would it imprison me as well? Luckily, it didn't. As it hovered next to me, I felt a curious tingling sensation. When I tried to touch it, the mirror withdrew slightly, as though it feared some harm might befall it or me. I remember casting a spell or two, hoping to communicate with the creatures. A few seconds later, it stopped flickering and flew away. I think it feeds on magical energy. This entity has piqued my curiosity. I must learn more. To the library at Starhold. Fabulous. Ooh. I'm sorry, I really like that image of that with a little hamster for size.
Like, just in case.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Hamster.
All right, so it is a large construct. All right, it's a construct. Good.
Okay.
AC 14, 110 hit points. Only has a fly speed. Super intelligent, super wise.
Wow.
Love that. Okay, cool. So this is absolutely, it should be able to communicate if you can, eventually. Doesn't seem to have telepathy or anything. Maybe it's just so alien that it just doesn't understand what's going on with most things. It is immune to blind, charm, deaf, exhausted, frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned. Right, so you can't do anything to it. It's only 2 dimensions. So it's got 360-foot blind sight. Love that. Magic resistance, it gets advantage on all saving throws against spells and magical effects. Scrying Focus, a spellcaster can use the fractine as a substitute focus when casting the scrying spell or similar magic, provided the spellcaster and the fractine are within 5 feet of each other. 2-dimensionality, the fractine can occupy another creature's space and vice versa. It can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but it takes 5 force damage if it ends its turn inside an object. That's very interesting. I would have done that a little differently. As a 2-dimensional object, you would be the most infinitely sharp object in the multiverse, and you would be able to just slice through 3-dimensional objects. Although I feel like that's what I would have done. Is that would be like the primary attack is to move through something and slice it in half.
Yeah, no, that. Don't make the mirror mad.
But I get that that's not what they wanted to do, because that would make that like a CR of like 15 or something. Like, can't do anything about it. You can't see it if it's turned directly on its side. You literally cannot see it. It is an infinitely thin line.
Yep.
It doesn't need air, drink, or sleep. Actions: extra dimensional touch. It's a melee spell attack and does 8d6 force damage.
Oh, is that meant to be that attack, you think?
Yeah.
That's hefty.
When it moves through
that's
you.
Hefty, yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay, that's significant. Bonus actions. Imprison is a bonus action.
Just it's a little extra.
Target one creature of its size or smaller in its space. The target must succeed on a DC 16 dexterity saving throw or be imprisoned in a demiplane. While the creature is imprisoned, a distorted image of it can be seen on the fractine's 2-dimensional surface. The demiplane moves with the fractine, has indestructible and opaque walls, and is only as big as it needs to be to contain the target, which doesn't suffer from hunger or thirst while imprisoned. No other creature can enter the demiplane, and the fractine can't be harmed from within the demiplane. The fractine can imprison only one creature at a time and can release that creature as a bonus action. If the fractine is reduced to 0 hit points, any creature in the fractine's demiplane is released instantly. A released creature reappears in an unoccupied space as close to the fractine or where it died as possible. A creature can leave the demi-plane on its own by using magic that enables planar travel, such as the plane shift spell. So I feel like if it were me, the lore here in my world would be, in 3.5, there's something called the mirror dimension. And it's literally the dimension behind every single mirror. And what happens in 3. Like all mirrors in the universe are connected by this mirror plane.
Fucking terrifying.
Well, the issue is that in 3.5 lore, anytime you enter the mirror plane, a mirror copy of you is created on your plane.
No, thank you.
And goes around doing things. It disappears instantly as soon as you leave that plane. But if you're stuck in the mirror plane for a couple of hours, it has a couple of hours to fuck your life up, But it's a way that you can travel to different planes. It can be used as a planar portal, things like that, if you know which mirror to exit from. But you can also spy on people from the mirror plane by looking through the mirrors, which to you look like windows.
No.
So this would absolutely be like a section of the mirror plane that like got dislodged, or like there was some sort of explosion in the mirror plane. And this is how this race of creatures were created, is these are all just fractions, tiny little fractions of that plane. All right, fabulous. What is reactions? Mirrored damage. In response to being damaged by a creature, it can see within 120 feet of itself. The fractine forces that creature to make a DC 16 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 8d6 force damage. On a successful saving throw, it only takes half as much damage. So anytime you attack it, you will take damage. Well, once around. Split. When a large fractine has at least 10 hit points remaining, takes bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, or thunder damage from any source, it splits into 2 medium fractines. The new fractines occupy the space formerly occupied by the original fractine, and each new fractine has hit points equal to half its original's rounded down. If the original fractine had a creature trapped in the demiplane, that creature is released when the fractine splits, reappearing in an unoccupied space as close to the new fractines as possible. So now here's another situation where it's like we need to know, like, how do they grow? Like, for me, it makes sense that they feed on magical energy. That, like, after a certain level, like, they will start to grow again into a large fractine. For me, I feel like it would definitely be something sort of like a mimic, where they can fold themselves into origami, and a mimic technically can grow as large as it wants. But most mimics will just, once they feed on enough stuff to become a large creature, they then split into 2 medium mimics. This, I feel like, could absolutely be the same thing, where like it feeds on magical energy. And once it gets to a certain point, it'll become like a large, like instead of large, it'll become a huge creature and then split into 2 large things. But it can also, the medium will also grow. So I feel like that's how they sort of, they would propagate throughout.
That's insane.
Yeah, I
like this creature. This is really cool.
I mean, what I would love to have like a room, like for like a lich or something. You have like a room in your house that has like a very potent magical artifact, and the walls are made of fractines that just feed off that. They don't move anywhere or do anything. They know that there's food here, so they just feed off that magical energy. And as soon as somebody enters that room, the fractines all just suck it up. Baba Yaga, absolutely. I loved the mirror plane. I thought it was super fun. So absolutely, we might be bringing back the mirror plane energy.
The mirror plane sounds like the scariest plane in existence.
Well, so the thing is that inside the mirror plane, it's not. You might run into other creatures that are you because sometimes the creatures, like, I think if I'm remembering correctly, what happens is, now I remember, the creature, instead of creating a copy of you outside the mirror, as soon as you step in, a copy of you is made inside, somewhere else inside the plane of mirrors, and they want to come and kill you and then take your place.
Yeah, that's a hard
So it's
pass on the mirror
essentially, and
dimension.
so this was also when they had alignments. Alignments were big in D&D, and essentially whatever your alignment was, the mirror version would be the opposite alignment.
Yeah, no, I'm good actually though.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
And then they had a whole series of like mirror creatures that were native to that plane, that all had like the ability to reflect spells and stuff. So you had to shatter them with physical force. If you attempted to cast a spell at them, they literally would just reflect the spell right back at you. And
Oh
thank you
god.
for the follow, Citizen One. There's yeah, it was just it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy and super fun. Getting to play yourself. Yeah, no, absolutely. A 16th level paladin, like a little anti-paladin friend gonna come and beat your ass. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
It's a paladin.
That is how one does in the mirror plane. It's simply what one does. You murder your copy.
Yeah.
All right, we have got. But yeah, that reminds me of the spell from 3.5 Clone, which was very different than the 5e spell.
Okay.
In 3.5, when you did Clone, what it would do is you would create the clone, but when the clone came to life, it would hate you because clones all wanted to kill each other. Because they didn't, it's too much to have two of you in the same plane. So essentially, if the clone somehow came to life, if it wasn't restrained from you, then it would just try to hunt you down and kill you. Which is super fun. All right, so that was the Fractine. What's going to be the next thing? I think it's going to be the Asteroid Spider.
Asteroid Spider.
All right, this is a CR15 creature, so let's see what's going on here. An Asteroid Spider is a menace native to wild space in the Astral Sea. It's a menace.
Wait, wild space?
Yes. So wild space is essentially, for us, it would be the space outside of a crystal sphere.
Okay.
So you've got realm space and you've got wild space.
Okay. Gotcha.
There's a full-grown specimen has a body 30 feet in diameter and legs that are at least 30 feet long. Oh my, so it is, when stretched out, it would be 60 feet in diameter. Oh wait, no. It would be 90 feet in diameter. Are you kidding me? Like, most creatures could not run across this thing in a round.
No, I'm good. Good. I changed my mind. I don't want to visit the space anymore.
Yeah, you do. It's nice.
No, I'm good. I'm gonna bury my head in the sand.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're already out there. Your character is out in friggin' wild space.
Oh god,
right now.
yes. Oh shit. You're right. Oh god.
But you are in the middle of fighting a bunch of friggin'
sloths. I have a
friggin' sloths.
Asking has bigger problems than.
Yeah. When it wraps its legs tightly around its body and closes its eyes, the asteroid spider resembles nothing so much as a giant, lifeless rock in space. Hence its name. Oh my god. An asteroid spider has its own gravity plane and air envelope, as well as multiple spinnerets, with which it can create web strands. Its living brain functions like a spell-jamming helm, oh my god, allowing the spider to travel through wild space without a ship. It often haunts asteroid belts, lurking among normal asteroids until a spell-jamming ship comes close enough to be detected. The spider then snares the ship using web strands to catch crew members and reel them towards its snapping jaws. Oh. So it can literally create a web of asteroids. Like, I feel like, so while it might not be great, I feel like we absolutely need to create like a pirate outpost where it is like where the pirates want a new thread to be put together. They just hang up like a piece of meat or something. They just put that out there, and then the spider will come spin it up, create a web around it so that it could feed. And you could create a whole asteroid city that's held together with spider silk.
And you just you get the meat, put it in there, they eat it, and then you catapult meat some other way, and they go, ah! They go chase it.
Well, it's just the thing about spider webs is that the ones that we see are the old ones that they're not using anymore. A spider doesn't come back to old webs. So what it is like it'll wrap something up, feed on it, and then create a new web, because then like the thing that's on it disturbs, like doesn't allow for vibrations the way that a web should to alert the spider that there's new food.
Gotcha.
You know? And so
One-time
as the
use.
spider created this, it would just constantly be sort of looking into different areas to go back to. But then of course it would lay some eggs and you'd have to deal with a bunch of babies.
Yeah.
So you could I feel like you could absolutely create, like if you had like a stone shaped spell or something, you could absolutely start with this and then like actually build a fortress along the web lines. I think that just wall of stone, wall of stone, wall of stone.
Yeah.
100%. I'm here for it. All right. That's terrifying.
Yeah. Oh god.
That thing eating a spelljammer ship.
Yeah, I mean,
that's very rude.
That guy's screwed.
It has armor class of 17. It has 348 average hit points.
What? Okay. I'm not really familiar with like, deities and shit, but I'm pretty sure that's more than most.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is just crazy.
Like, let's look up the Tarrasque.
Oh my god.
I want to look at the Tarrasque. See.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think it might be more.
Baba Yaga, imagine piloting your 3-mast spaceship and you bump into an asteroid belt that suddenly wakes up and attacks you. Okay, yeah.
I was super wrong. The Tarrasque is like 676. But never mind.
Yeah. This thing, though, a bunch of these things could probably, like, that would be a pretty even fight. If you had like 4 or 5 of these things coming after a
web them up.
There's So Eamon, like your player that fears face spiders, totally get it. One of the things that's most terrifying about face spiders is when they lay their eggs, what they do is they phase into the ethereal plane and they will lay their eggs ethereally in a creature. And then when these eggs hatch, they actually consume the flesh of whatever it is to form their own bodies. So if you have a bunch of phase spider eggs laid in you, they will just like rip you apart from the inside to become phase spiders as they enter the physical realm for the first time.
I love that.
I think it's you know what? I love that for you, Lando.
Oh, I do.
I think it's super important.
I don't necessarily have like a phobia, but if I did, it would be spiders.
Yeah. It's gross. So its speed normally is 60 feet, and it can fly 60 feet.
Yeah, it just can fly. Sure.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's but so it has a spell jamming helm in its head, which means that it can go near light speed if it wants to. So
I'm good. I'm good.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're good. Let's see. It's got stealth. It's got a stealth score. I love that. Dark vision and blind sight to 120 feet. Oh my god! Wow.
But
so it doesn't even need to have its eyes open. Like,
blind sight, right? Doesn't matter, right? Because you can be actually blind, and it's interesting that they said while its eyes are closed.
Well, I think the thing is that like in wild space, like there's rarely things to block your vision. It's not like normal world where there'll be like a tree or a hill or something like that, or a building in your way. It can probably see for like 1,000 feet out. If it's got its eyes open.
Sure.
It can see things coming. False appearance if the spider is motionless, has its eyes and mouth closed. That's why it's eyes and mouth closed. I get it now. And it has its legs wrapped around its body. At the start of combat, it has advantage on its initiative roll. Moreover, if a creature hasn't observed the spider move or act, that creature must succeed on a DC 18 investigation check to discern that the spider is anything other than an asteroid. Love that. It's got legendary resistances.
Oh, that's good.
That's right.
Yeah, because you can just polymorph it into something. That's always something that you have to put with these creatures is polymorph is so powerful. You're like, oh, now it's a sheep.
It's like, no, it's not. Never mind. It's like one of the things that I like to do with that is like if you try to polymorph it and it's got a legendary resistance, it'll gain like one weird aspect, like non-mechanical aspect of it. So suddenly you have like this very fluffy asteroid spider.
Yes.
It can no longer hide from you as an asteroid. It looks like a giant puffball. All right, let's see. Multi-attack. The spider makes 2 web strand attacks, uses real, and makes 2 bite attacks. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's got 5 things it does each round. All right.
Perfect.
So it does piercing damage and acid damage with its bite. So a total of what? 3d8 plus 8 plus 3d6. Web strand, reach out to 120 feet. Hit the target is grappled with an escape DC of 18. The web strand can be attacked and destroyed, but it has 20 hit points. Vulnerability to fire damage, although it's immune to bludgeoning, poison, and psychic damage. Okay. The spider can grapple up to 6 creatures at a time.
I wonder why 6 and not 8.
Because it has 6 spinnerets.
Oh.
So each spinneret can go whoop.
And those are different than legs? Or like they're, I mean,
yes. So a spinneret on a spider, spider's got its legs, and then a spinneret is essentially where its butt is. And that's where it creates the silk. Normally what happens is you've got like the spider will like create the silk and it'll sort of twine around itself. And then it'll use its legs to actually distribute it effectively. And it's one of the reasons that spider silk is pound for pound it is stronger than spun steel. So if you had a single spider web thread that was, I think it's something like a quarter of an inch thick, and you spun it out across like the path of an airplane, it would just cut the airplane in half.
Quarter of an inch thick. Wow.
Yeah. It is astonishingly powerful. There are things that we have in nature that are just insanely powerful.
I don't like spiders, so I haven't really looked into them that much.
Yeah, but they are amazing. They are amazing creatures.
That's cool.
All right, so real. The spider pulls each creature grappled by it up to 60 feet straight towards itself. So it's just gonna eat you all.
Yeah.
It's all right. Snare ship. Okay, it can only do this once per day, kids.
Okay, good. Phew.
The spider weaves a magical web around a spell jamming ship it can see within 120 feet of itself. The web lasts for 1 minute and suppresses the magic of any spell jamming helm aboard the ship. Decks and other surfaces of the ship that aren't enclosed become difficult terrain until the effect ends. The web is impervious to damage, but is destroyed by a successful casting of Dispel Magic. Oh my god. So it just throws a web at you and suddenly you stop moving and it just eats everyone.
I keep, every time a new scary creature comes in, I'm just like thinking about, what if they all joined forces? We have all the creatures, you have the Clockwork Horrors, you have the things, and then you have like the Asteroid Spiders, and they're all working together.
Well, it could absolutely, I feel like you could absolutely create a psychic link with the spider and turn it into your spell jamming ship. That would be fucking delightful. And I mean, if it were me, if it were me, I would have essentially the Clockwork Horrors would mine the asteroid fields for nutrients to create more of themselves. And as the asteroid fields were depleted, then they would all just go back to the spider.
Just hop aboard,
have their psychic connection to it, and just say, "Go find more food."
Wait,
and
so
its instincts would take it.
Can the Clockwork Horrors take over the spell jamming helm of the Clockwork or the spider?
I feel like I would absolutely allow them.
I feel
allow them to
hostage.
Well, because they're intelligent, and so you can you could definitely create some appendage that's like they can just stick into its brain, move it where they want. The other thing that I think would be fucking delightful is if you had an asteroid, like a meteor storm or something like that.
Yeah.
And something happened and a dozen of these things all rained down onto a planet, but were like severely injured, but nobody realized that they were anything but an asteroid. And so because they were harmed, they just sort of like curled in on themselves and started trying to heal. Or it could be like that, and then suddenly like in all the different museums that they were stored in, suddenly like they all wake up and start killing everyone.
Like this ancient rock.
Yeah, you could absolutely do a thing where they were all like pregnant and they just lay their eggs in the museums, and suddenly you've got all of these babies running around just eating everything. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's ways to have fun with this.
Oh, this is that fun?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I missed it in the beginning, but 17 intelligence. That's
it knows what it's doing.
Dang.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Like there is that just makes me
trapdoor, astral spider, exactly.
Yep. Baba Yaga wants to make a pirate asteroid spider who pretends to be ships to lure out the asteroid spiders. Absolutely, yes. This is they befriended the asteroid spider, and now we're using it to kill its own kind. Oh my god. You could absolutely teach an asteroid spider to understand language. It was got 17 intelligence.
Oh, definitely. I mean, more than a lot of people.
Okay, now you know what I want to do. I want to create an asteroid spider spellcaster that creates, like, that actually uses its webs to create things like explosive runes on the asteroids. Shit like that. Like, if it were me, I would absolutely do a thing where, like, you create like a huge explosive rune on one side of an asteroid, and when a spelljamming ship comes near, you just activate the rune and it flings the asteroid at the ship. Like, 100%.
I was just thinking something basic where like, you know, like a fleet of pirate ships uses astral spiders to like commandeer and like take over the spelljammer ships, not destroy, but basically just like add to the horde of fleet ships that the pirates have.
I feel like you could have a temple, like an asteroid spider temple, that would be like that would be the size of an actual asteroid belt, so the size of like many planets, and that all of the webbing along the asteroid, like they've moved the asteroids to be in specific places so that the entire asteroid belt is like a giant rune built of asteroids and webs.
What?
Like to some sort of to like Lolth or something, like a fabulous spider god.
Something.
It just like makes it. Oh my god! I could totally make this happen. It's Lolth commands the asteroid spiders to do this in a solar system, and what it does is it blocks out the sun. That it is a giant rune. It's a Dyson sphere of darkness that allows for, like, you know, her to come up and just have, you know, her fabulous dark planet where only creatures of the Underdark could live. Absolutely. Like, no plants, no animals could survive. 100%. I'm into this now.
Yeah, I kind of hate that, honestly. I hate a lot of this stuff.
Oh my god. Yes,
it's
absolutely.
Terrifying.
Baba Yaga, you absolutely do get a Space Spider Pirate Queen job title now. 100%. I love it. I love it.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You could do a glyph of warding plus the spiders all over the planets. 100%. Like, you could do like anti-magic glyphs and just, like, you know, shut down any planar travel, make it like the perfect prison.
Yeah.
Just 100%.
Prison.
I love that. All right, I want to see what's next.
Just don't teach these spiders magic, okay? Like, let's just not.
No, because that's rude.
That's bad.
That's rude. Next, we are, speaking of teaching things magic, we are now going to go to the Eldritch Lich. Eldritch Lich.
Alrighty.
From beyond the stars, a great old one whispers promises of reality-defying knowledge and world-bending power. When a wizard or a warlock hears that whisper and listens too intently, they might set foot on the twisting path toward becoming an eldritch lich. Like other liches, eldritch liches are spellcasters who cheated death, but an eldritch lich does so by allowing a great old one to implant a far realm parasite in the lich. Gross.
Oh, no.
The parasite's mouth is visible on the lich's torso, and the parasite guards the lich against destruction, reviving the lich a few days after death. Canny foes can sabotage an eldritch lich's revival by slaying the lich in a magic circle, thereby forcing the lich to return in a distorted form, robbed of most of its power. That sounds even more horrifying. Like a barbarian, like a barbarian lich that's just like crazed and wants to kill everyone. An eldritch lich constantly hears bizarre whispers from the far realm, to which the lich nods and mutters. Occasionally, the lich uses its telepathy to share those whispers with the mind around it. This is a no for me. This is just a no.
I'm good.
Unacceptable.
I've been saying that like every time, but like again, I'm good actually.
Yeah. So it's an AC of 17 with 165 hit points. It can fly. That's fun.
Perfect.
A 19 intelligence.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. 18 dexterity, 16 con, 14 wisdom. I mean, this thing.
Yeah.
This is all right. It's got a plus 14 to its Arcana check, so don't cast spells at it because it will know what you are doing and it will murder you. It's resistant to necrotic and poison damage. Can't be charmed, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, or poisoned. It has true sight.
Interestingly, no legendary resistance.
Which is good. Yes, it does. We haven't got there.
Oh,
it has true sight. It is true sight to 120 feet. True sight. That's powerful. Common, deep speech, and telepathy. All right, far realm parasite. Inside the lich's torso dwells a worm-like parasite that contains the lich's soul. When the lich dies, it implodes into the parasite, which then vanishes into the farm realm. Oh, wow. So that's how it escapes. That's why you have to keep it in a magic circle. That's crazy. In 2d4 days, the parasite causes the lich to reappear within 1d4 miles of where it died. If the lich died inside a magic circle cast to contain undead, the lich instead reappears as an Odiug with all the lich's memories. Oh my god, that's awesome. I love it. 4 times a day legendary resistance. Not just 3, but 4.
Yep.
And it does not need air, food, drink, or sleep. Multi-attack, it makes 1 parasitic tentacle attack or uses spell casting. The lich also uses Psychic Whisper twice. All right, let's see what all this is.
Yeah.
Parasitic tentacle, 10-foot reach, 6d6 plus 4 piercing plus 66 plus 4 necrotic. So 12d6 plus 8 damage every time it hits. Average of 50 damage. The target must succeed on a DC 17 Constitution saving throw or be poisoned. The poisoned target can repeat the save at the end of each turn and do the effect on itself with success. The 3rd time the target fails the save, the target dies and dissolves into a gibbering mouther that obeys the lich and uses the target's initiative. Oh my god. Oh my god. So it's going to have a bunch of gibbering mouthers around it. That's insane. Let's see what the Psychic Whisper does. The lich targets 1 creature it can see within 120 feet. The target must succeed on a DC 17 Wisdom saving throw or take 66 plus 4 psychic damage and be stunned until the end of the lich's next turn as incomprehensible whispers fill the target's mind. It gets to do that twice a round, in addition to either a tentacle attack or some spells.
Perfect. Love it.
That's upsetting. And then spell casting. At will, mage hand presses to detect magic. Twice per day, dispel magic. Hunger. So if you cast a So cast a magic circle and it will dispel it, and then cast it again and it will dispel it, and then you can cast it again and it might stick around. There's Hunger of Hadar and Lightning Bolt, all right, and Arcane Eye, Dimension Door, or Plane Shift. Oh my god. So this thing is very hard to pin down. And reactions: Far Realm Step. Immediately after taking damage, the Lich, along with any equipment it's wearing or carrying, magically teleports up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. So I love this for like damage dealers, like melee damage dealers, because if at this point they'll have 2 attacks around, but they get to attack once, and then it just disappears. It just goes 60 feet away. It's just like, no, fuck your second attack.
Yeah.
No thanks. Yeah, so that's fun. That seems nice. Let's see now. Multiple entities bear the title Great Old One. You may roll on the Great Old One's table to determine which entity gave the Eldritch Parasite. I love this. Cthulhu, Tharizdun, the Chained God, who is literally the destruction of the multiverse. Dendar, the Night Serpent. Guanadwar, Zargon, the Returner, and That Which Lurks, which would probably be Azathoth.
I want to see stat blocks for these.
There cannot be stat blocks.
Oh.
I mean, literally, these things are world destroying. So the whole point of the Great Old Ones, if you don't know, is in the Cthulhu mythos. All of them were these insanely powerful gods that literally did not care about you. They didn't care about people. They didn't need to be worshipped. There is the most powerful was known as Azathoth, that gibbers and whirls at the center of creation, mad and thoughtless, like something like that. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's just this huge roiling mass of chaos that doesn't give a shit about anything, and anything it touches is destroyed. Essentially, Cthulhu is the one that sleeps eternal but never sleeps, and he rises from the depths and destroys the world. You might get a stat block for him, but he would be a world-destroying thing, much like a Tarrasque.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I just tend to like to quantify stuff, but from like a narrative perspective, that makes sense. That like it's not a thing you could fight. That's the point.
I mean, you can try, but it's like Tharizdun had to be changed by literally every single god in creation.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can try to fight him. Go ahead.
20 ain't enough.
Yeah. Nope. You cannot hit him ever. He's immune to spells. That's the thing, is that like they're immune to weapons, they're immune to spells, they're immune to magic items. Like they're just you just can't touch them. They would essentially have like unlimited legendary resistance, just.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because essentially, right, the stat blocks for even the deities are like avatars of the deities and not necessarily themselves.
They're not the actual.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, so the thing about deities in D&D is that very specifically they are multi-planar eternal beings that exist at all points on their timeline at the same time. So they don't see the future and see the past. They exist at all points in their existence at the same time, which is why a lot of times they're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not going to help you right now, because they know that in 1,000 years, it's not going to matter. They're not going to spend the energy, or that it's going to fuck something up that they're planning for 10,000 years from now.
Well, then how do their plans get foiled by adventurers and stuff? Or do they not? Is that...
If you really want like the sort of the esoteric and just the philosophical answer to that, it would be that no adventurer has ever foiled the plan of a god. The gods included that in their plans.
That's fair.
There is, we need to make sure that this thing happens, that like this city needs to be destroyed so that it can spawn a bunch of like 17 different cults. Like this one cult city of mine needs to be destroyed, because then everybody's going to flee and create like 17 other cult temples on different planes, and then spread from there, and they won't be able to get rid of it then. So that'll keep me safe when this calamity happens on this world and this calamity happens on this. So it's just there's
Gotcha. Okay.
This is one of the things about DMing super high level campaigns and incredibly powerful creatures is that their view of the universe is so different than yours.
Yeah.
And you might be able to try to explain things based on your experience, but your experience is going to be insanely limited.
Yeah.
When you look at theirs. So it's the difference between working at a retail shop and thinking, oh my God, I have to get every single sale or else we're gonna go down. And then taking the 30,000 foot view of it and being like, oh, you know what? If I give my salespeople time to relax and rest, they will be better able to study the habits of things and go do work over here and here and here and get better at their job. And then we're going to get the big clientele instead of every single small clientele. And that's going to be more efficient. Then we can grow and we can go. So it's just a matter of the level of perspective that you have on a situation.
That makes sense.
And so, but for this, the old gods very specifically don't care and they don't have plants.
Yeah. They just be.
It's just, this is a thing. Oh, here's a parasite. Let's see what a parasite does to you. Cool. My assumption is that there are tens of thousands of people that got the parasite and just died. And then there's a couple that didn't. That's how that works. But yeah, I feel like this would be. So now I'm trying to create the ultimate astral dungeon that's made of asteroids held together by spider silk, so that moving through them is all difficult terrain, and at any moment you might get stuck on the silk and get attacked by spiders. Yeah. And then there's gibbering mouthers everywhere that are eating the spiders will drain the corpse of all its fluids, and then the gibbering mouthers will eat the leftovers. And then there's a fucking lich in the middle of it, just sort of whispering crazy plans to all of them.
I'm good. I'll just run the stream on that one.
Okay, cool.
That's
fine. And then there's one left.
All right.
Just the one.
Oh,
It's called the Nightmare Beast.
Oh.
Let's see what this is. Nightmare beasts are enormous quadrupeds that stand. Oh, first let me check chat. I'm sorry, I've not been looking at chat. I'm a terrible host. There is, yes, I agree. There should not be stats for great old ones. Yeah, if you meet one, and the thing is that you might not actually be dead. They might not care enough to kill you. They might send you to a different dimension and just be like, "That's fun. That was new. I didn't do that before." Yeah, absolutely. There's one more. Nightmare beasts are enormous quadrupeds that stand 20 feet tall or 40 feet tall when rearing on their hind legs. This is a 4-story building.
Perfect.
A nightmare beast's legs end in claws, enabling it to climb well despite its size. Its skin is thick and tough, and its teeth are long and sharp. A pair of long curved tusks jut from the sides of the beast's mouth, and its large red eyes glow in the dark. The creature smashes through structures and fortifications with ease, and it doesn't hesitate to rend foes with its claws and gore them with its tusks. But its most devastating attack is its magical ability to disintegrate foes with its terrible
There it is. We were waiting for that.
Powerful spellcasters create nightmare beasts to serve as living siege engines. A single beast can lay waste to an entire city and armies. This is a CR60 creature. Oh my god. That art is terrifying.
There he is.
You know what that looks like?
No, he's cute.
Is it a Sarlacc from Star Wars? That's what that looks like. Is that the Sarlacc pit? The one that they drop the door on?
No, that's what's that? Oh god. Rancor.
A Rancor.
Sarlacc is like
Sarlacc
the
is
pit.
worm.
It's like
okay, yes.
The pit where Boba Fett fell into.
So let's see, it's a gargantuan monstrosity. So sizes go, so you start at tiny.
Yeah.
And then you get to small, and then medium, then large. Large takes up a 10 by 10 foot square. Then you get huge, which is a 15 by 15 foot square. Then there is gargantuan, which is a 20 foot by 20 foot square. And then there is above gargantuan is titanic.
Okay.
Which is a 25 by 25 foot. Wait, no. Above gargantuan is colossal, which is 25 by 25, and then titanic, which is 30 by 30. So these things are, these are gargantuan, which means they take up a 20 by 20 square foot space. Like, these are ridiculously large. With 232 hit points, 17 natural armor, and a climb speed. So that's fun. 26 strength. 26. This thing, like, if this thing, like, sneezes at you, you die. Like, that's what you get. It's got dark vision. It understands the languages of its creators but can't speak. Okay. It has 2 legendary resistances. Good. Siege monster deals double damage to objects and structures, of course.
Yep.
Multi-attack. It makes 2 claw attacks and 1 tusk attack each turn. Its claws do 1d12. Oh, they only do 1d12 plus 8 slashing damage. But it also, it's a DC 21 strength saver being knocked prone.
Yeah.
So essentially it just like stands on you. And then a tusk still doesn't do crazy damage. A tusk is 2d8 plus 8. So that's not bad. So these things are, I guess, like their big thing is they've got like their legendary actions, but they also have this disintegration gate. The beast targets one creature it can see within 60 feet of it. The target must make a DC 18 Constitution saving throw or take 10d6 plus 40 damage. It is force damage, and half as much on a successful save. If this magical effect reduces the target to 0 hit points, the target is disintegrated and leaves nothing behind, except a pile of ashes plus whatever equipment it was wearing for carrying. I do love that scene where it's just, you turn to dust and like your armor just falls to the ground. Yeah. That's great.
That's insane.
Bonus actions. The beast magically teleports along with any equipment it's wearing, carrying up to 120 feet away. Do that twice each day. The beast can take 3 legendary actions, choosing to operate alone. Only 1 legendary action option can be used at a time and only at the end of another creature's turn. The beast regains spent legendary actions at the start of its turn. So it can make a tusk attack. It can charge up to its speed and make 2 tusk attacks. Or it can do a frightening howl. The beast howls as it exhales a cloud of magical fear gas in a 120-foot cone. Any creature in that area must succeed in a DC 18 Wisdom saving throw or be frightened of the beast for 1 minute. A creature can repeat this saving throw at the end of each of its turn, ending the effect on itself on a success. So it can do that once a round. Once every combat round, it can just make everyone terrified.
Like everyone, and it doesn't say that you're immune to it after if you save, so you have to keep saving.
Yeah, no. You can just keep on getting terrified. And it just, I mean, so now an interesting thing is that technically if you've got the beast inside its own cone, it's not immune to charm, and it's not immune to its own fear gas. So if you could lure it into its own fear gas, potentially it could become scared of itself.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
I feel like at that point, what it is it just like it sees images of itself in its head and just goes crazy for a while. Like it sees the damage that it has wrought and it suddenly becomes very upset about it. You know,
it reminds me of a like a short video that I saw that's like someone, it was like a skit, but someone was like, yeah, my phobia is I'm afraid of my own screams. And someone was like, boo. And then they're like, like ah. And then they're like, ah. Like, even
my God.
They scare themselves with their own scream.
Yeah, this thing, honestly, like, this disintegration rate, it's powerful, but it's 1 creature, you know?
Yeah.
And the DC's only 18. If you're going up against a CR 16 monster, you should be able to deal with the DC 18 Constitution saving throw pretty, like, without too much trouble.
Or at least the appropriate party members should be able to, for sure.
Yeah. So this one, I don't know if this actually deserves a CR16 rating.
I mean, that gas, that's a lot of, that's...
I mean, but it also, it also looks like it dissipates immediately, you know. So it's not like it sticks around. It's not like you have a fog cloud of fear gas.
But it gets to do it every turn.
Not every turn. Well, once a round as a legendary action, but it means it can't use its charge.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm just like this one. I mean, there were so many others that were so much more impressive than this. That I'm this one. It's sort of a letdown for me at the very end. I'm like, womp womp. But so now I feel like we need to design, like at some point, the perfect, like gross Eldritch Lich lair. It is literally like the outer part of the lair is an asteroid belt, with all of these giant monster spiders on it, with gibbering mouthers just wandering along the threads of things, just consuming things that get caught. And then you enter like different chambers. I would have like a whole bunch of different chambers set up, like I said, with like a powerful magical item, like somewhere in the chamber that would like attract the adventurers because it's a powerful magical item.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of fractines in the chamber as well that just suck up the adventurers. And then you go talk to the fractine, get them to release the adventurers so that you can then feed off them, like they're just like, you send them out into the asteroid belt, like, because you totally would. If you're an Eldritch Lich, you absolutely would like play with your food. Like you would definitely like,
yeah, you're definitely that kind of asshole. Yeah.
Like, yes, absolutely, 100%.
Like release them one by one and just make them all watch and.
Yeah, and all of the light, because they're immune to being charmed, all of the light is from these like gross beach ball things, the Goon Balloons.
The Goon Balloons.
Yes. Just like everything. What else did we have? Is there anything else that we would want to put in there? You could also have like a section of the outdoors look like a dead forest that's just Yggdrasil.
Yeah. Just make it the worst
Absolutely.
ever.
Absolutely. And you would look very pretty because you'd have a tentacle, you have a bunch of tentacles, but you'd also be wearing a gadabout. So you have these very pretty wings.
A gadabout wouldn't associate with an Eldritch Lich. No, it's too nice. How dare you?
Gadabout doesn't care. Gadabout has
it does.
It does not know.
It's gotta be nice. No, it's not a lie.
But could you imagine that? Just like first you have to go through an asteroid belt that's filled with crazy monsters. Then you get there and there's all this treasure around, but as soon as you freaking touch it, like go anywhere close to it, suddenly you're trapped in a mirror. And if that doesn't get you, if you get rid of the fucking mirrors, I would like essentially you would have like insane things that have been trapped in their mirrors as you destroy the mirrors that you then would have to destroy. And then the entire time you're trying to dodge these crazy charmed creatures, like these balloons that they keep doing damage. You're like, every room just has like 6 of them in it as the light source.
You fucking balloons.
Oh my god, you would have these light sources that are all rainbow bouncing off all the mirrors. And so everything is just total, like super confusing, weird Wonderland light. Like absolutely. I'm gonna do a one shot where you all have to make your way through this.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Overall, that was a really, really solid batch of 10 creatures. Super, super solid.
Absolutely. I loved it. Thank you everybody for being here today as we explored some things. I know I've got some new fabulous ideas, and I hope you have some new fabulous ideas for your tables. I'm super excited about this. But for now, we are going to go a rating to one of our friends. Let me see if Mindari is live yet. I am not seeing her, but Evan Blair Art is live currently. So let's go say hey to them, creating fabulous art for their D&D homebrew world. It makes me very happy. And I can't wait to see you all again. We will be here on Friday for Magnificent Mythologies.
Yeah.
And we will be here on Sunday for Wonders of the World, where we do fabulous world building for the Patchwork Planet. And then back again with actual plays next Tuesday and Wednesday. So stick around for the raid and we will see you soon. Mwah!
Bye, everybody.